Hello, Peter. Welcome back.
Hi, Enrique. So, are you telling me right now that we will find the money today? That's what you're telling me, right?
Well, we will see. This is the question will be on the top of our next guest. No, today we're having
Okay,
someone else interviewing in English, so we both together. So let's see if he can show us the real money. But getting to the end of the season, so I promise you, you will find it at the end of the season. So I really hope that
okay.
this interview can be the defining one.
Not
Otherwise,
not
I
too
will be
many
in
weeks,
trouble. So.
not too many weeks stays in the season two right now. So just we really need to find the money for 2023. So to 2022. So we will.
Yeah. Okay, so no more overdue. We're going to introduce our next guest. He's also an architect. We are surprised. We are full of architects around the world of BIM. So, and again, another call for the rest of the agents. But no more overdue. Daniel Gañán, welcome back to the BIM Cafe.
Hi,
Hello, everyone.
hello. How are you, everyone? Hi, Piotr
Very,
and
Yeah,
Enrique.
great to
very
have
good.
you, and just welcome you to the community of our BIM Cafe, and just as you know, I'm looking for money. Enrique, he tries just to tell me that there is some money, so I'm just looking for the where are the productivity money, how we can just do this, etc. That's our
I
goal.
I try to help you.
Okay,
Perfect. Perfect.
ten
We have
percent
an
for you,
alliance
ten
here.
percent for you. When we find it, 10% for you. So it's okay.
Like a final treasure, yeah. Okay, so for you guys, maybe you remember Daniel was present in our ninth or 10th episode. I don't remember with the live session. He commented with us on video, so it was nice to have him now on the real interview moment to go deeper on his profile and share his experience about BIM. And this is what we're gonna do right now. So let's switch off the music. We get serious. No, no, joking, joking. We keep the like this funny and amusement talk. So let's go on the presentation, Daniel. Daniel Gañán or Daniel Gañán, he's Spanish. No? You're originally
Mhm.
from
Yep.
Venezuela, if I don't remember that, right? You're
Yeah,
from Venezuela, Spanish, so a mix of cultures there. He's living now in Germany, so
exactly.
you can imagine how his head will be working, right? A bit,
Austria also. Yeah.
a bit confusing. Okay, so Daniel, we will go around the interview. This is pretty much the agenda we decide for today. We're gonna go through some office side gaps because of your experience. We saw that you are a good person to tell us how to close or how to get closer in the gap from the office work and the working site. So this is your experience from both sides. So you told us that this is a way to make this communication better, and thanks to BIM it can happen. And also we'll run through some BIM tools and other different software or techniques that you use in your daily routine as a BIM manager or coordinator. And if I'm not mistaken, sorry for that,
Mhm.
on your current position. Okay, and then we can have some general questions about the digitalization and
Mhm.
the industry and so on. But we're not relax on that. We start by the presentation, and always we give the floor to our guest because who better than our guest to introduce himself? So please, Daniel, take the floor. I always say the same thing. You know, it's getting like like my setting of the of the interviews, right? So Daniel, please show me up and go on and introduce yourself to the audience.
Well, one more time, thank you for the opportunity to be here. And so, I'm basically architect, and I have also a master in Barcelona. I studied in Caracas, in Venezuela. I born there, but I have close to 20 years in Europe in different countries. So my experience now I feel like a multicultural, and I had experience in Spain, in Barcelona and Madrid, and in Austria, and also in Germany, and also I had a project in Banja in Bosnia and Herzegovina. So I have different uh, views, no, about the project and how work in different part. Um, my approach to BIM is for exactly for that. I work also in Barcelona in on site as a product manager, uh, and I feel the why I found a gap between the project part of, no, the design part and the construction side, no? And for that's why that's was my motivation to go into the BIM world, no? And that's it. I'm here, and I
Very
try
good.
to show you my experience, or try to
Very good.
find some money for you, Piotr.
It's not for me really. Just it's not really for me. I think we're doing this as a voluntary cafe, so there is no money there. But we try just to really find the money for the industry, because one of the questions which we are getting from our clients, and they saying we are ready to go, but they are saying just it's first too expensive, or we don't understand it. I was, for the last 2 days, we were just presenting on the real estate fairs in Paris, and one of the guys said, we will do the BIM only for the projects which are bigger than 1 million uh, euros, 1 million euros, which is great approach, right? That's of course, but it means that all of the others, they saying they outside of all of the digital flows and markets, and that's exactly where you can just get a lot of money, right? Because the smaller projects, you will have just the same economies, etc. So I was just a little bit puzzled. I didn't know why he just said 1 million. Maybe that was arbitrary, but he said it's very expensive. That's what he told me.
Yeah.
Definitely. I think so I understand that for a big company, it's a big investment. Also for a small studio, no, I thought in a small architectural studio, no, and to just think about invest, no, in BIM, in different software, and the to provide the workers the techniques, and the tools and so on, and that is is a lot of money. But the good thing, so my opinion, is you can start with a small thing, not like when I was implemented BIM, I always said the same. You can start with a pilot project, very small as possible, with a pioneer team. So many small people, small team, uh, small resources as you can, but with the long time that you can, no? The more time that you can provide it to this project. That's, for me, is the ideal, because you can test, no, the process in your office, and with that you can scale. When you uh, test, no, this process, and for sure make the fixes and so on, you can scale to another project, to a biggest company. But it's an scalable process, an scalable method, no? And of course there are a lot of many sides in BIM system. BIM is not a software. BIM is a method, is a system, is many things, no? And you don't need only a 3D model to make BIM. You don't need to know Revit or Allplan or ArchiCAD to
Correct.
make
Yeah, to
BIM,
be.
no? You don't need it. You can work with Excel and make BIM. That's it. And so
Yeah,
that is my
with
opinion, no?
Excel, some drawing will be difficult, but that's okay.
Yeah, of course, but no, in my company, in my team, I have colleagues that work in BIM and don't know, he don't know, or they don't know a specific 3D model
Okay.
software, no. This is
So,
IT people, uh, I don't know, different cost, the budget, no, people related with just with budget, and work just with budget software, no. That's
Okay.
it.
so
It's
more about data management, which is the evolution that we see now in BIM, no? Managing the data, but being able to coordinate and make this work more agile. No? So this is BIM
Yeah.
is not software. BIM is simply geometry and data, but you can also do it in a different way. No needed to do modeling or designing with
Exactly.
those software, which are complex. No? And this is what I want to transmit here in our BIM Cafe, to democratize BIM and to show it that it's possible to put your site, to make your effort and to work
Mhm.
in BIM without going like knowing about Revit, Archicad, all plan, and all this coordination, federated model, and so on. This is a part of BIM which is dedicated for certain people, but not all of them required to have it.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Well, so let's go for the main topic we have today presented, and this is quite related to what we said. So this office side gap, no? Office from the working office, the white collars they call it, and the side from the working side or the blue collars, and this gap that there is between. You know, how do we, as me, we represent with this smaller image there? How do we transfer the best way possible all the information and works we put on the design phase from the architect or designers up to the construction site? So on the information flow, there is no leaks, there is no missing, there is no misunderstandings and problems. And we really believe that with BIM we can make a good impact and make things happen. So how is it in your company, Daniel? How you plan this for the projects you run?
Well, first of all, for me I think to close personally, to close the gap between the office and site, for me the best strategy is education. So at all levels, BIM must be known from the technician to the owner, to the sponsor, and everyone need to have an idea. Of course, different levels, but to know the idea what is BIM, what means BIM, that is really really important, because if the sponsor, the owner of the company or a property or whatever don't know what are the advantage for BIM, don't need to invest in this technology or this system. Why? With CAD or with two drawings through to the drawing is enough, but it's in our side to explain that. So in come back to your question, in my company is my company and the companies before, when I worked, is like that. Uh, so the experience in the for global working, in the global working experience, for me in Spain, in Austria, and in Germany, and I have my experience in these three countries, the level is more or less the same, I think, more or less. And if you compare this level with the more developed countries in BIM topic, like UK, USA, Singapore, also Australia, we are in the middle side, I think, in middle level, more or less. I think, in my opinion, I wrote also some news about it, and it's more or less like that. Depend on the companies, depend on the bigger studios, close about, but normally is I think it's like that now, in my experience.
Okay.
And how do we need to see on these countries that you said are more developed, like the US, or Scandinavia, the UK? What are we missing from them in terms of being like, how, talking with the topic we have in mind, like this office side gap? What is happening there that we still have not implemented? Or
For me, first of all, is time. Start before.
they start before.
That's it. So in US, start, I don't know, years before, and UK also, in the Scandinavian countries also. So and there are, I think it's important sometimes the government support,
Yeah.
but also the industry, the big suppliers, like Autodesk or Graphisoft, or this big monster now in the industry, in which we want to go on and but it's a mix. It's like every technology depend of there are many factors than
But I think there is not so from the US there is no government support, right? For UK that was just any government support from UK.
Yeah. From the UK,
Yeah.
there's many mandates and requirements for law. Yeah.
But US have the biggest companies, no, inside there.
Okay.
So
And
the push is on the
yeah,
big
the
on the
pushing
company.
is different side, but you need some time pushing, no? Not
Yeah.
only the people or the technicians. And
So if the only difference between our middle size and the country we have in Europe right now and those top ones is a matter of time, as you said, can we say that regardless what we do within X years, we will be at their level, or there is something we need to change, we should speed up the things further, faster. Sorry.
Okay.
I only can speak as can I read, but I didn't work in US or in UK or in Scandinavian country to really compare now with my experience. But I talked with different colleagues, and for example, in Australia, told me that in specific in hospital and so on, there are a government website with specific rules and specifics, everything what you need, more or less,
To
for
follow the procedures,
BIM. Yeah,
standards. No?
procedures, also the models, the I don't know, the elements, no, that sometimes you need to create a bit more
The
a BIM
requirement for the
model.
models. Yeah.
All of that, nice. It's very structural, very standard side, and that is very cool, because if you are a company, small, medium, or big, you don't need to invest a lot of money because it's ready now.
Yeah. So
And it's easy.
in this case, we don't need to. The question of to beam or not to beam that we have in our in our motto in the
Yeah.
channel is basically no question. There is beam because they already are prepared for this for take this jump or and move forward. While still in
Exactly.
some countries here, we still ask ourselves this question of should we beam or should we not beam? Should we invest? No? Should we not invest? So
And to me, in BIM, there are something very important, no? And every people don't want to go into this world. Then in the beginning, you need to the investment of the resources is more than in the end. No? Why? Because you need, if a studio, no, an architecture studio, for example, need create a specific layout, a specific element, a specific or adapt, no?
yeah, the
Also
old
the
methods.
structure to BIM, no? Because BIM have a specific structure as CAD, as the different system. It's like that. But when this migration process is ready, you can use it many times, all the time what you need. And when this migration is ready, this material is more efficient, I think, than if you work in CAD, for example, or drawing by hand. Definitely, you have more control about budget, about time, about mistakes.
We see here so quite a lot of people already passing our BIM Cafe, and pretty much everyone have the same knowledge about BIM, and we're saying that there is no there will be a point, and the point is arriving soon, that we stop asking ourselves, not asking ourselves, no, asking to people to join BIM, to say in a way, because the moment will arrive, and the people who hasn't realized or who deny BIM now, they will see they are wrong on the near future. So this like this big jump or big gap that Daniel said you need to invest in terms of prepare your methodologies to work with the new methodology, which is BIM, is something you need to face. It's like at some point you need to study for this exam. At some point you need to face this change, and of course
It's
all the
like that.
change require some changes and so on.
It's something like do you need? I don't like the computers. I don't like the smartphones. But today, more or less, you need it. No, the technology push you, no, in some ways. It's like that.
That's right, but you're right. Wow.
Okay, so Daniel, before to jump to the second part of the interview, can you tell us some of the in your work experience because in your company you mainly do some hospitals and healthcare buildings and so on. If you have what are the benefits you see on site, okay, on site from the work you do off site on the office? No, what are the implementations you do with being at your office that then you go on site? You say this is happening better here because we plan it or we design it before with BIM and so on.
What I said before, control the budget, control the issues. So and they are practical in big ideas like budget, control issues, control mistake, and a little bit better time control also. No? For me that is the best things.
Okay.
And of course, so in my experience, BIM can be better in the construction side. We need to long time to so the construction side need more time to really implement BIM. Now it's more BIM is more implemented in the project side, and more or less in the on-site. And of course, the idea to BIM is use it in the whole cycle life, no? And in the maintenance and so on. It's more or less it's used, of course, but
yeah, but so we get there. We get there.
we
Soon
go
as well.
there in this direction for sure.
Fantastic. And to go there, we use many tools. I'm going to link it to our next topic. We use many tools, and on this evening.
That's too much for me, guys. That's behind each of the tool is a price, okay? And
Some of
for
them.
the money, yeah.
So you need to convince Peter, Daniel, that with each of those logos there, you can make money.
Yeah, but they making money. We try to find the money who will implement BIM, right? Not who just provide this thing. So that's what I'm just looking for.
So here there are many companies involved, no? Many direction you can. So as a company than work in the typical building process now, infrastructure, because you can use BIM not just to building, not just you can build a infrastructure, a bridge or a highway with BIM, no? You can use different type of technologies. You can use drone. You can use a point clouds. You can use Excel.
Yeah, I see
software,
some
no?
of the
You can
Microsoft package as well. No?
Yeah.
This Excel is very popular, okay? This is the second time which you mention Excel. I think I will get the license.
So or TXT a path, no? And the typical path. I name it Excel or some similar software
Spreadsheet
like that,
software, yeah.
because many people use it and don't relate it with BIM. Normally, BIM is the people think in 3D models, no?
Yeah.
And to make 3D model, you need Revit, Allplan, ArchiCAD, no? All these. There are many more others, no? And but there are more and more and more, no? And you can connect it. That is the nice thing to BIM, no? The goal of BIM is the interconnection to different BIM to different teams. Sorry, and for example, in my case, we work with federal models. That means that the architect work with one software, the contractor work with other software, different software, and I don't know. No, there are different software involved in the same team, no? In the same process at the same time. No?
Okay.
And with BIM, you can work with all together. No? With
So
CAD, we cannot do it.
we can do no,
But,
the interoperability, this fancy word, and so on.
mm-hmm.
But I'm interested. Tell us really, how do you work in BIM with Excel, for example? How, for you, what is to do BIM with Excel? What is what you do when you open your computer at the office and you say, I'm doing BIM and I'm using Excel? How is that? What do you put in the cells?
Well, of course, it's part of a process. I don't use just Excel.
Yeah,
No?
yeah. Mm-hmm.
But with Excel, you can control a database. No? You can manage a database. And in the end, BIM, the part of the BIM, the I, no?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Building information model. Information is the most important thing to BIM.
Okay.
And we can talk with that a little bit deeper in with parameter and what's mean parameter is information. Every element that are into the 3D model have parameter. This parameter have information, and you can handle this information.
Edit and adjust
And
it.
yeah, and that is the most important thing, or the basics thing in BIM. No?
Mhm.
Is information and how you can manage this information. Excel, you can with Excel you can, or with Access, or with all this database software, you can manage database. No?
Perfect.
Okay.
Great.
So, but
Go.
you know, in just the one of the I hear what you're saying, but I disagree a little bit with you. Sorry, just very Daniel, but when you look at Excel, the one of the elements which is not existent there, it's the problem of the data validation, right? So you can enter whatever you want, and that's just I am from the technology part, so just that's always my problem is that whenever the garbage you put, you will get the garbage, right? So in Excel, you will be able to build everything, but you will not have the data validated at the end in terms of the coherence, the values, the basic part, which is it. So yes, you can do this, but you're missing the important part of all of the things which we're talking about, Wim. It's just that it will be good at the end, right?
Yeah, but this is why also we use different software. No,
Exactly.
Excel is just a part of the flow, no? And I guess after you work with a database on Excel, it will go to somewhere else, or
Yeah. No. Okay.
It's just an
No.
example. Yeah.
Okay.
We can talk about the other company and other software and try to go in this.
No, it's for me, it's a question of the concept, right? So I think I'm really
Yeah.
just thinking, that's it can be really, it can be interesting, really, just to see how these things work. So it's okay. Oh, I got it. I understood. So thanks a lot.
Okay, Daniel. And then on this one, we showcase a bit all the also other tools, and it's more about the process with BIM here on this slide. And on this picture, we already talked about this in our previous episodes about
Mhm.
the levels or dimensions of BIM, 2D, 3D, 4D, and so on. Sometimes it goes 7, 8, 9,
Mhm.
10D, and it's about the different stages, so the modeling, the planning, budgeting, and then control, maintenance, blah blah blah. But when it goes to construction, we need to be sure that all this we are preparing doesn't goes away, right? Like this, the
Mhm.
information flow goes properly. So, which are the tools or which are the stages that you say on the table that for you are more important to carry on the information with you from the model to the site?
We use it normally Solibri or Naviswork or
Mhm.
Bean Collab uh, to check the the clash the clash now
The
the
class controls,
issues
yeah. Mhm.
and that is very important, for example, in hospital, because there are many installation many
Mhm.
uh, yeah and in a house, of course it's important when you have a pipe and you have another pipe and a cable and you have a nut, no? But in a hospital, when you have a lot of gases through another through water and electric cable and so on is a big salad. There's a lot of things, and you need to really control that. No?
Coordinate that.
And with this BIM softwares now, there are different BIM platform. You can control that. No? With, for example, Solibri, Navisworks, BIM Collab. That is the most useful for me. There are many others. Yeah, and of course you can set to the related people, no? Hey, the I don't know, the water installer now, the electrician. Hey, you have a clash here. Please
Go to
correct it,
site and
no?
report it.
Or
Yeah.
something like that. Now you can issue report it, make a issue report, or make many things with this type of tools, no?
Okay. Fantastic. Okay, Daniel, perfect. So we're gonna end up now with the last one part of the last interview. We are closing with some general questions about the the construction industry. We don't get here about names, Excel or Solibri or whatever. It's about the construction industry. So things we talk a bit at the beginning of the interview as well. So what is the role of BIM on the digitization of the construction industry? So people really understand what is BIM. This question through, but I want to make a point. For example, on the first one, that the digital information, that we enhance this eye from information. You as an architect, that because you're an architect and you're making a design, just forget about your real one. You're making a design for a house or for whatever. What kind of information would you like to get from the suppliers, from the manufacturers? What kind of models of data? Because those are the first in line for the production of the construction of some buildings. So when you go to them, you're an architect, you design a house, you go online and you look for what kind of properties. You look for a BIM model, you look just for a technical data sheets, and you prefer to create yourself. What is the kind of digital information you would like to get from them?
Well, first of all, there are many manufacturers that there are nothing about BIM,
Yes.
nothing information. No,
Exactly.
it's the last part of our world. I think first is architect, after structural people, and after that is the manufacturer. No, but the people then the manufacturer then have elements and have the BIM technology. I miss it sometimes when you create a model, and normally you try. There are a lot of information there, and you try to simplify this information, because it's a question of to understand and the information and to deliver also. You cannot. It's very complicated to send a huge, enormous data,
Data, yeah.
file. For example, biggest file by email. It's better to compact it and filter. In this way, many manufacturers, for example, if you download a window, sometimes have a lot of information, very good, very detailed, but many times it's not necessary. And that is many times is a problem. And at the end, many architectural studios, many companies create their own libraries of element, because it's a lot of information from this, from the manufacturer, and
The
I
not
don't need
satisfied
it
ways. Yeah.
in the end.
So
Maybe I needed this information at the end of the process, in the construction side or something like that. But
not in
something
the
very
design.
important in BIM is to, in this way, it's very important to structure the have a structured method in the BIM process. You need, they are about the lot, the level of information and level of detail in a model. Every phase, every
Stage.
part of the stage of the process, need a different type of information, from
Okay.
less to more, no? To and and normally the manufacturer information is a lot. It's like something
It's better
related
for
with the
later, no?
end of the project,
On
no?
the project.
And I found it that, no? Mm, and maybe need to have every element need different levels, no?
All
This
information, yeah.
window go to is developed to first part of
Of
first
the
phase,
project.
no? First stage or the second stage or whatever, no? Something like that.
So basically, just say that the manufacturers really they don't know too much about BIM. They just throw all the information there and they don't care
And it's a
about.
lot of work. It's a lot of work
Yeah,
many
yeah,
times, but
it's a shame. It's a shame that you see all this.
and I found it does.
Yeah, it's true. It's not the first time that we say this in other interviews. So we remember that.
Yeah.
I think we go with Ivan saying as well that it's like you don't need to just give all the information. Also give valuable, like give about the processes,
Sure.
about the installation of more valuable. Sorry, Peter, you want to say something?
A BIM model is not a box, a container of all
Everything.
information inside. No, no. You need less is more. That's it. We need.
Just okay, but that's you will have a different views, right? So just we have this three different, in the industry you will have the three different bill of materials, right? You will have the one which is the engineering one, which is the guys who are just designing it. You have the one which is the production BOM, which is in fact what was really produced. It can be different because it will have also different characteristic.
Sure.
You will have also the thing which you are selling, so you will have a commercial BOM, which means that you are selling potentially something different than you really produced, and it's possible because you can have the different mutation, and also then you have the service BOM, which is at the end, right? So is that on the BIM we have the same notions, or how this things works in the BIM side?
You need to every stage need different information, need different type of information, and the model you can accomplish you during the whole. That is the ideal, no?
Okay.
You create a 3D a model, no, a BIM model in the first phase, and go biggest or adaptive, no?
More detail,
To
evolve, yeah.
different phases.
Mhm.
And when this building, the real building, no, in the end, is in activity, no, is started and working and so on, you have a real twin and digital twin. That means the real meaning of digital twin is that, no, this model is a mirror of the reality. And if you have, I don't know, a window broken, in the ideal case, you need to write or to define in this model, hey, this window is broken now and we need to change it. And that is the idea of BIM in the end, at the end. Of the, it's not just to create a 3D model with a lot of information, nice, and make a cool render and so on, and sell that. And that's it. No,
The process
we
go
need
with the
to.
different levels.
It's like a, I don't know, and it's part of the building, and at the end, that is the idea of BIM. Today is not developed in this at this
At this
deeper
level.
as that, no? At this level, no? That is something like there are 4 levels in the BIM develop. We are more or less in the second in the industry. That is, so the whole cycle life is the fourth level, no? And we are so in the middle, no?
The moments where we will evolve, the places where we will go on the
Yeah,
future.
for that, as we in the beginning we said, we need time, or the BIM industry needs side, and we don't know what happened tomorrow, no? And with new technologies, new things now, There are, I don't know, the metaverses, there are virtuality, the glasses. There are a lot of things that for sure will connect it with BIM because it's prepared for that.
Perfect. Okay, so we are getting to the end of the interview, Daniel, and what I highlight from here is one of two sentences from you. You said that we need this time to get there. The other people are more advanced because they've been there for longer. So just wait for time, and we'll be there as well. But we need to do something with that time. We're gonna just stay hands and wait to get to the development. No, we need to keep working on the development of BIM, on our of BIM development in a project. But with the new technology that's coming and taking on, we will get to this point of development that other countries and other industries have. No, so hopefully for the construction industry, 2023 will be a big year of development. So we hope that we get to at least one level up, one level up in the BIM development.
For sure, this change come. Sure.
No, that's great. Thank you very much for sharing your insights. I'm not sure if I found the money, but that's okay. I just only found some other licenses which I need to buy, so that's what I'm thinking about it.
But it's a way he made you spend more money, no? No,
yeah, he made
with BIM you're gonna spend more money.
So one of the things which is, guys, this is related as well to all of you. Just we have right now published on the More Than Digital website the how to fight the recession and how recession will just impact the construction. That's what Enrique published, I think, today, isn't it? It was just today. It means November.
Today virtually, no?
Depends who is listening at what time. But that's really interesting. I think the recession is really hitting the different countries, even we are just saying that's not. But I think the article is very good, worth reading. So just we will just put some links on below in the comments on the YouTube channel. Make sure that you can just, guys, go for it. Give us a like also on this one and try just to grow the BIM around the world.
Also, another call here. We have our newsletter on LinkedIn, the BIM Cafe, also to this news to this webinar, and then all those articles that Peter talked about. We give some seats there, so it's a good way also to catch them through and get into the industrialization. If anyone has ideas, want to share, communicate with us. There is a room here for you, virtual room also there. You can come to the webinar. You can collaborate with us in the articles. This is about to share and grow together in BIM. So. That's all the publicity section on the webinar. Okay. No, seriously, Daniel, thank you so much for your time. I hope you enjoy. Okay, we see each other soon, and you bye from here.
Thank you, guys. It's a pleasure. Just click the button to subscribe. I forgot always forgetting this.
Thank you both, and bye everybody. Bye.
Everybody.
Thank you.
Ciao.
Ciao.